Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders Without podcast. Tonight, I have another special treat for you guys. I have an incredible lady, a cheerleader with a heart, a person that is wearing proudly and very successfully multiple hats. Um, Sarah Ripper from Melbourne, Australia, and she's got a tremendous vision. She's a heart-centered lady with in building multiple businesses and multiple things, all about impact. I love what she's doing, especially the tagline that she has, which is the work she does intercepts spirituality, the arts, a new paradigm business for our emerging future, which is quite a mouthful. We're gonna be unpacking all of that in a moment. She's also does e-commerce. She has her own brand, quite successful, and a niche that not many people would get into, but she's been able to do it very successfully. As well as she's a school teacher, primary teacher, and the way she found her job, I'm not gonna say it because I'm afraid I'm gonna butcher it, but she did it in an incredible way. She basically manifested out of nowhere. That's gonna be quite a story. She just told me just before going live. She's gonna do that. She's done a lot of amazing things. I said this lady as a heart the size of the, I don't know, maybe the size of Australia. She's been working. She ran a small charity for refugees in Melbourne. She's done community development. She's done training and healing for kids. She's done some training for kids in the Philippines and a lot of good stuff. I mean, we can do an entire 2-3 shows just with all of the things she's done. So, but anyways, we're gonna try to cover as much as that's possible. So, without any further ado, Sarah, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hello, thanks for having me, Payman.
Pleasure's all mine. So wow, so much to cover and unpack. So, but first of all, for people who don't know
Yeah,
you, who's
yeah.
Sarah?
Who is Sarah? Okay,
Yes.
that sounds like a very cosmic question to contemplate. But in a nutshell, me in this life as this form, I'm a lady who grew up in Australia and have always had a pulling towards creativity, towards social justice, and towards spirituality and adventure and learning and and connecting with nature, connecting with other humans. That's me.
That's amazing. Wow, so much to talk to. But before we start, what I'd like to do first is, as I told you last time, I want to have heart to heart conversations. I want to look, sure, we're going to talk about your professional achievements, but what I'm mostly interested in is to look under the hood, so to speak, to see what's in your heart. And we're going to be having, because I like to have a heart to heart conversation, hence the name Leaders with a Heart. So, first of all, tell us, Sarah, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Wow. What makes me happy? Like a lot of small things, you know, like seeing kids laughing, people having fun. Nature totally makes me happy. Um, yeah, fun, creativity,
Mhm.
seeing really positive transformation or people finding creative ways to reimagine possibilities or to flip realities or to see new potentials where other people don't see them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, what makes you smile?
What makes me smile? Hmm. Well, I guess the things that make me happy. Also, generating, because of course, all emotions we can just generate
Hmm.
within us and then to the outside world. So it's, there's the reacting or responding to the outside world, but then really generating it from within us.
Hmm.
So when I really take the time to do that, I can generate smile whenever I want to, because I understand that when I do that, my physiology and my energetics change.
That's one of my
Mm,
favorite questions because smiling and laughing is probably one of the most powerful medicines we have available at our disposal. I read a quote not long ago that said that if every doctor in the world we have to prescribe 1 hour of mandatory smiling and laughing per person per day. Within 30 days, I'm not kidding, 95% of all the diseases and ailments would be gone. Why? Because
Yeah.
90%, 95% of all diseases are what are caused by what? Stress. And when you remove the stress, you take just an hour. It doesn't have to be an hour at once. You can take 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, whatever, or even three, divided in three or four, whatever. As long as you smile, you laugh enough on a daily basis, that's going to change your physiology, your physiognomy, your state of mind, and everything. And when you're happy, you cannot be stressed. And when you cannot be stressed, then
Totally.
you cannot get sick. So, and also because, and I experienced that myself, I'm sure you've been to many, conferences, events, and at the end of the day, you come back home almost with a collection of business cards that you have no idea who it is from. You just toss them away. But instead, and here comes the power of smiling. For me, the most powerful business card in the world is a smile. Because when you greet the person at a fair or anywhere, just walking down the street with the most genuine smile, hey, how are you? How's it going? They will remember you because not many people will greet you that way in a conference. I will share with you an experience that happened to me, and I did it on purpose. When I was living in Hong Kong, as I told you before, I'm very involved in e-commerce. I attend a lot of conferences and events on e-commerce and manufacturing, all that. So it's a 3-day event in Hong Kong. The first day I went with business card. Okay. Second day I went with no business card. All I did was just greeting the people with just a smile. And you know what? They remembered me much more because when you greet that person with a big smile, the first, instead of just shaking your hand almost in a robotic way, like all the hundreds of other people they see that day, I was surprised. Most of the day they came and they tried to have a normal conversation with me as a person, not trying to just go straight to business. And then without me asking, they say, hey, let's take a picture, take a selfie. And believe it or not, when I got home that night, I had at least 10 emails from the people that I met with my picture say, hey, I remembered you, and that's coming from, suppliers and manufacturers from all over the world that I would have not been able to do that with just a business card. The point of that is the smile is the most powerful, business card, the most powerful. It opens all the doors. It opens hearts. It opens doors for you. It's magic. So the point,
Absolutely.
let's smile more. Let's laugh more. You know,
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And it's amazing how quick it can shift your inner state. Like if I'm walking
absolutely.
around the house feeling a bit, and I just go,
My
okay, stop and just walk around smiling, even if no one's there, and then observe the
yeah,
difference. And
totally.
it's tangible. It's like, boom, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So now, what makes you come alive?
Oh, what makes me come alive? Dreaming up and seeing really fun potentials materializing.
Mm,
Again, things that I've come up with or things that other people have come up with. Like, that's what, if someone is, really excited about gardening and they're telling me about it, I'm there. Or they
exactly.
love go karts and they love it, I'm there. Like, it's like, I, anything that's got enthusiasm and passion and some kind of positivity that it
Hmm.
brings for people or for the world, love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what makes you sad and angry?
um, what I'm getting, like, it's really stark polarization
Mm,
when there's an absence of respectful and collaborative discussion or engagement.
hmm.
Yeah. So any kind of, and I think that plays out in lots of different spheres that
Hmm.
just causes more of a divide. And
Yeah.
of course, in division, there is, yeah, yeah. So that, or any kind of, yeah, I mean, that's a form of separation. So when I see any kind of people othering, any othering, I think that's when we've really got to check ourselves as.
Hmm.
humans. When
I
I see,
agree. Totally. Now, what scares you?
oh, probably
The dark, spiders.
no, I'm cool with spiders.
Oh wow,
Uh, but if we're
crocodiles.
talking, oh, don't want to go swimming with them.
I don't blame you.
If we're talking like what creatures scare me, and
No, no,
it's
in general.
totally
Mhm.
ridiculous. They don't scare me, but I'm like, is mice? And I'm aware of how stupid that is. Like, I am aware. It's ridiculous. I went to uni in India when I was, at uni time on exchange, and there was a rat in our room,
Mhm.
and I woke up one night and it was chewing my hair.
No way.
Like,
Oh wow.
yeah, and I was like, and then I just felt this like, and I got up and I turned on the light, and my roommate was like, turn off the light. And I'm like, a rat just ate my head. She's like, just pull the doona up over your head and go back to sleep. I was like,
Wow. That's
so I've
crazy.
had a few funny encounters with rats like that.
Wow. But other than rats, what scares you?
Oh, what scares me? Oh, it's quite a politicized thing to talk about, but um, I would say a unhealthy I don't know the exact words are, but technology getting out of control actually is
Like
something
AI?
that yeah, like um like, and I'm aware that this exists in China, like social credit systems and
Yes.
those sorts of
I lived there. I
things.
saw it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that freaks me out.
You know
The
what else?
potentials of how those things can be rolled out and quite subtly, and then boom, there they are. Not a fan. Yep.
Yeah, speaking of technology, sometimes the AI is getting so ridiculously good, it's scary and almost creepy. Like, for example, you're talking with a friend about something, you go online and you see ads for that without you even writing it anywhere. It's almost as if we are being, listened to and watched. I mean, we might very well be already, but that is scary as well. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the invasion of that on sovereignty of people
Yeah,
and on freedoms, yeah, I'm a bit
yeah,
concerned by that.
absolutely. Unfortunately, we're seeing more and more our freedoms being eroded these days. So, but that's for another story, another podcast. But yeah.
Mm, mm.
Oh well. Now, what is your personal superpower? I know you're blessed with many,
Oh,
but what would be your number one superpower?
oh, personal superpower. Oh, I have the ability to get excited really quickly,
Oh
and
wow. Well, I saw we talking about the rats. You was almost.
I don't know if that's a superpower, but I think that can generate positive energy. Um, probably on a more serious note, my intuition.
Mm,
I mean, or we all have that, but um, yeah, and being able to see, like sometimes I see or perceive things quite quickly. Sometimes I don't. In other areas I don't. But sometimes I really do, and then the world feels slow because I'm like, come on, let's go over there.
what kind of things are you seeing?
um, like potentials or things that are unseen. Like, so like we're talking about the social credit system or something like that. Like those the things that are
Hmm.
underpinning that are very obvious to me, and I'm like, hello, like what other
Yes.
potentials can we create? But in a less heavy way. The other things I would see are like ideas that someone's just talking about, And then
Mm-hmm.
they're like nutting it out. I'm like, yeah, I already got it. And now I've got the next 3 ideas that connect to that idea.
Mm,
I don't know if that makes sense, but
yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
Wow.
following the threads.
It's a great skill to have to be able to read the future, to see the future. That's,
Mm,
and if you can do that, that can give you tremendous step up over anything. Wow. All right, let me ask you now some fun questions.
great.
Um, so remember when we were kids, especially in primary school, middle school, everybody's asking us, especially parents, teachers. So Sarah, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer back then?
Oh, I think it was always that I wanted to be an actor. I think
Oh,
that's what I remember. Like I remember making like plays and roping, probably unwillingly, sorry to all my friends at school, like unwillingly roping them into stories and making them act them out. Like, you're here, we're gonna do this. So some kind of storyteller. Yeah.
mm, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and what was your favorite subject in school?
Drama.
Ah,
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
pursue that any further or was it just at school?
Yeah, on and off I have. So I've done a few. Well, I did an acting job last week actually with
Oh,
a
wow.
mental health charity. Yeah, so I do it on and off, but not in a really focused. This is all I'm doing way. No,
Hmm. Okay.
but yeah, theatre shows, bits of film here and there. Um,
Is that something
Audition.
you would like to pursue
It
more
is
frequently?
actually, yeah, yeah, because I really enjoy it. And
Mm,
I enjoy the process of it. I just realized a few weeks ago I was in quarantine and doing lots
mhm,
of work, and it was fabulous work because I'm working on a film in India, and I'm so
mhm.
excited about that. So lots of
Yeah.
creative collaboration, but it was all through a screen. And then I got this gig, and we had to do rehearsals in person. I just went, wow! I've realized how much I missed that
Hmm.
kind of creative
Sure.
process. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
All right, now let's move forward from the time that you left school up to now. How would you describe your path? Would you say that once you left school, you got on one line, it was very linear, straightforward, smooth sailing? Was it like turns and twists and up, down? So
Yep. The
a
latter.
lot of, all right, awesome. Makes for more fun, fun journey. Cool.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. How to keep this a bit brief? Well, all I wanted to do straight off the bat was go traveling. So as soon as I finished school, I went and worked in a winery with one
Wow.
of my best friends, and we worked, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and saved up all our money and went traveling around Southeast Asia, Europe, Turkey.
Hmm.
And then she went home, and I went back to Asia, and then I went to India by myself.
Wow.
Which, in hindsight, I was like, oh, that was a bit, I was 19. Anyway, that's what
Yeah.
happened. And then I went to uni, studied communications, film, and international relations. Um, Went to India again on exchange, and then stayed there for the rest of that year doing interning with a
Mm.
organization called Video Volunteers. At that time, I was working with them, and we were conceptualizing India Unheard, and that's the largest community journalism platform in the world, or in Asia.
Wow.
In Asia,
Okay.
I don't know about the world, but pretty big. Yeah, so that was really fun. And then back to uni, finished up, went to East Timor as soon as I finished uni,
Oh,
and did
wow.
a internship with the UN. And and that was one of those periods of time. Like I was only there for 4 months, but so much happened. It felt like 3 years. Like, I was just Scottish dancing on a Wednesday night, trivia. I was in 2 choirs. I got malaria. I was in hospital for something else. I
Wonderful.
lived in 3 different houses. Like it was, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
This is what life's
Um,
about. It's about experimenting
yeah.
as many things as possible. Even malaria, bring it on. Add it as an extra sauce on top of it.
No. And I was in a little village at the time. Actually, to be honest, the malaria wasn't that bad, but afterwards my system was so that I
Mhm.
spent I had chronic fatigue for like
Did you get the malaria
pretty
in
much
India or was it in East Timor?
in Timor. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
jungle, in the village?
Um I don't know, there's a lag time between when you get bitten and when the symptoms come
Ah,
out,
okay.
but it could have been in Delhi or it could have been in Los Palos, this village, I think. To be honest, I didn't have it very badly, but it was more
Okay.
the wearing down of my system
Sure.
afterwards um,
How
that
long were you
turned
down
into
for?
oh, most of the next year.
Really?
Yeah, and then this is so ridiculous. I'm back in Australia recovering, right? And one of my friends calls me and says, "I'm getting married. Come to India for my wedding." I'm like,
Let
ah,
me recover,
I'm,
please.
I'm like, I'm just recovering. Sure.
All right.
So I
I
did,
hope.
and actually, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I hope you loaded up on malaria
Um,
pills, eh?
no, I was fine. I was fine. I was fine. It
Okay.
actually had a great old time, and then stayed on and started really studying the next sort of
Mm,
part of my energetic healing string in my passion bow. So
mhm.
really dived into that quite quickly, without planning to. Yeah. So that's what happened after I went to that wedding and stayed in India and
Awesome.
did all of that.
How was it working for the UN?
It was
Was it in New York?
it's no, it was in Dili in East
Oh,
Timor.
wow.
So it's a yeah, wouldn't it? There was the mission there, post conflict mission.
What were you doing
Um,
there? What was your role?
I was an intern with the security sector support unit. So they were overseeing, whew, gotta remember, overseeing the um the reform of the
Mhm,
different security agencies. So, like the police, the military, the fire departments, the
mhm.
army, and the regulation of private security companies, which was a very big industry because being a post conflict country, it was full of foreigners with the World Bank, with all these big charities. And then they all had private security out the front of their
Sure.
buildings and their homes, and then being a post-conflict country, what's appropriate use of force. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
So even though that wasn't really like my thing that I'd studied, that's where I got placed, and it was a very relevant space to be in because they were recovering from conflict. So seeing how that played out and different socializations of new laws, also like training with, we had these trainings with cops about forensics and what do you do, and like even things like people were moving bodies or like
Oh, wow.
after they'd been killed, and it's like you can't, or there's informing people of what actually happens, like so that cops can educate communities, because communities were thinking that if their bodies get if their loved ones' bodies get taken for autopsy, their organs are going to be harvested and sent to Australia. And it's like, no, they're just being like.
Oh, wow.
So there was like a lot, things that I just had no idea about. Um, yeah, and the fire departments, actually, they were rad. They implemented a lot of really great infrastructure and satelliting systems and new hoses, and they would bring international fire people to come in and train locals, and
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
That's
a lot of
awesome.
different things.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, and then you said you've been a couple of times to India. I can see that you have quite a connection with India. Um, are you able now to speak some Hindi
मुझे
or
थोड़ा आता
understand
है,
some?
a
Ah,
little bit, yeah, a
okay.
little
That's
bit.
good. That's good. Awesome. So, what would you say was the best thing that the best thing about India that you experienced while being in India?
Oh, I just love it. It's such a magical place. And something I love about it, it's kind of like never a dull moment. And for someone that loves to be excited and mesmerized by life, it's like just ticks the boxes because it's like, wow, something delicious over there, something confronting, something beautiful. Just like a, a sensory overload of intrigue and wonder, and
Smells and all
diversity as
that. Oh
well.
yeah. Oh yeah. You
Diversity, you know.
did you venture out into the smaller villages, or you stayed most of the
Yeah.
time in the big cities?
Yep. Yep.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
That
Yep.
must be quite a sight to experience, like rural India. Wow. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that when I go to
Completely
India.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. It's
awesome.
there's many faces, you know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Mm.
Wow, we can talk about India for a lot because, again, as I said, I'm doing my product in India, launching a brand, and then doing impact in India. But that can be, this
Yeah.
podcast is not about me. I mean, it's about you. So you're the star. So we're gonna
I
move
know.
forward. So I'm sure you heard the story, the saying that says, "Change your story, change your life." And by story, I mean what we keep on telling ourselves on a daily basis. So when you had to change your story at some point in your life, Sarah, how did you do it? Did you do it through the help of friends, mentors, videos, books? So tell us about the process. How were you able to change your story so that you can either bring your life to where you wanted to do, or to get back on track?
Hmm. I think it's the power that the story has over us. We can acknowledge different narratives, and then um, also the where we're viewing our story from
Mm,
and what state we're in when we're viewing the
yes.
story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can we view the story? Because, like, the past is only the present and future if we drag it along.
Sure.
So,
Totally.
um, but we can be like, cool, richness of my story. What are
Mm-hmm.
the jewels, or what are the learnings from my story?
Mm-hmm.
And then what story do I want to create? Because really, whenever we wake up, it's like, great, new day. Imagine if we woke up and didn't remember anything, then it would be a whole new story.
Oh, totally.
So,
Well, isn't that what happens to us when we're born? Because we tend to
yeah,
forget our past
yeah,
lives. We forget
yeah,
that we are eternal beings and just having a temporary
yeah,
experience. And
totally.
even happens to us on a daily basis. When we have dreams in the morning, 80 to 90% of your dreams, you don't even remember them. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
So wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So a story, yeah, I think it depends on the vantage point, the state that
Hmm.
you're in, and and then yeah, the opportunity of, okay, that's been my past present story. What do I want my future story and timeline to be? And
Exactly.
what's it going to take? What state of being am I called to be in?
It's a
Mm.
focus. Yes. 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 Now tell us about what you're doing. What you're up to now.
Yeah, what am I up to now? So I've got the Myoni business. So we make
Mm,
ethical Australian made menstrual products. So we've got cups and reusable pads. So that's really awesome. And that's been going for a few years now. So got that happening. Really excited about to pilot a film concept in India about
mm,
holistic well-being approaches for response to mental health, but overall health, um,
mm-hmm.
for young people and their families. And we're going to do that through a creative arts therapy
Mm-hmm.
application. So that's coming up. Well, probably when this is live, that we may have already filmed the pilot, and
Oh
from that,
wow.
looking at making a documentary series or feature. Still feeling that out, but I'm super excited about that. And we've just got this incredible team of people. We've got like music educator, drama therapist, dance movement therapist, psychotherapist, art. I've got an art therapist. Anyway, It's like yoga teacher who's also a dentist. Like just all these awesome people that are
I
like,
know.
yeah, we're there, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as a creative response, because the stigma that exists in a lot of places in the world, but very much so there, is quite significant. So reframing it with
Mm-hmm.
a yeah, a
Tell us more
solid
about.
intention but a fun approach.
That's amazing. That's tell us more about the this documentary thing. What's how do you get this idea? What's the genesis of it?
Yeah, so my beautiful friend Mukti, who's a incredible filmmaker, and we were speaking, and she said, "I really want to do something around mental health with kids." And in COVID, it's just been
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of really for India, it's just brought and for the world,
Sure.
brought to the surface lots of things that were already kind of lingering, and that in the mainstream trajectories. Things were not looking good of what
Mm-hmm.
where these futures could lead to. And so the more we were exploring different possibilities, and um, I I came to her with some ideas, and we're just jamming with things, and then we were like, yeah, let's do this, and now we're just following the threads of let's do this, talk to people, and make it happen.
So how
And
long did it take from idea to reality?
mm, maybe 3 months.
Wow, pretty fast.
Yeah, it's moved really fast, and we've been just overwhelmed with how wonderful people have been in offering their support so far. Like it's just been awesome. It's like, yeah, really cool. So this is to do the pilot, and then for the feature, would need to raise the funds to make that happen.
And as I told you last time when we spoke, that would be perfect, a no-brainer for an Indiegogo campaign. You know
Mm,
that because Indiegogo is all about creative things like books, video games, movies, documentaries. So that would be a no-brainer. So I would
yes.
highly, highly recommend you dive deep into that, immerse yourself into that, and see how we can make that happen because that's the best way for you not only to raise the fund, but most importantly, the most important thing in any business is to build the audience. And
Yes.
Indiegogo has
Yeah.
a very receptive audience for artists and things like that. And because yours is not just about a documentary, but also a documentary with a purpose, with a heart, with a
Mm,
mission,
mm,
with a
mm,
cause. A lot of people will really, really be behind it once you give it
mm,
the proper exposure. And Indiegogo,
mm,
less Kickstarter because Kickstarter is more about physical products, but
mm.
Indiegogo is all about those artistic creations.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
Very welcome.
for sure.
So yeah, that would be seriously that would really help you guys to take it to the next level.
Mm,
But I love that. Keep me posted because I would be very interested to see the documentary because I told you I'm also starting to get very involved in India. So who knows, maybe in the future we can do things together because I'm gonna be, I'm working, with high profile people already and
mm,
so yeah, so who knows, maybe we're going to be, that's one of my plans to go to India because as I said, I'm an e-commerce guy. I like to get my hands dirty, be on the ground with at the factory talking with, I'm a connector, I'm a humanist. I like to build relationship on the ground with people. So as soon as I can, as soon as the world reopens, I want to relocate to India, work closely with my suppliers, manufacturers, and the thing that I'm really, really, really excited about is not the fact I'm going to be launching a product, but I'm already daydreaming. Seeing in my mind the impact, the result. It's not the raising the money, it's not
yeah,
launching the product,
yeah,
but actually being there,
yeah,
bringing the kids from the streets to the school. Because when you see that, the greatest gift you can get, the most amazing gift you can get from anyone or anything is the gratitude you see in their eyes, especially someone that has nothing to give back to you. It touches you so deeply. It gives you goosebumps. I call it, it's an orgasm for the soul because it touches you at the deepest level. You know, that's the most beautiful thing ever. It's that when you help someone that has nothing to give you, but all they have to give you is is what you see in their eyes is tremendous, gratitude as well as s- unlimited love you see in their eyes in a way that it's so beautiful. That it really
Mm,
touches you. And
mm,
I'm sure that when I get there, when God will bless me to get there, I will be breaking down like a little kid and crying. I will not be able to contain myself. But hey, that's gonna be the ultimate payoff for me because it's all about the impact. You know.
beautiful. Totally.
So yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a great segue. So what would you say is a cause that you, Sarah, are most passionate about? You kind of talked about it, but tell us more about a cause that you're really, passionate about.
Cause. I mean, I know it's not traditionally what we see a cause to be, but something that it's just, if we put aside what we think causes are,
Hmm.
really activating soul potential. Because the more soul embodied people become, the more realities change.
Hmm.
Mm. And then
Yeah,
innate things that need educating on will become no brainers because people's vibrationary state or way of
hmm,
perceiving will shift.
yeah,
But in a more traditional sense of causes, I'd say children, equality of
yes.
access to nurturing on all levels of love, of food, of safety, and of material needs, of
Hmm.
education, and um, of embodying their unique potentials and gifts.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the future is I mean, the children are our future. You know, but yeah, wow. Now, we all have a mission, a purpose, a reason to be here in this life. What would you say is your mission on this lifetime? Why is Sarah here in this period in time in this beautiful planet?
I asked myself that a lot.
Have you found an
Um,
answer yet?
um, look, one thing that comes to me is like a bridging, and we're all doing that in our own ways, but
Hmm.
anchoring and bridging really cosmic frequencies onto
Hmm.
planet Earth and embodying them in creative ways for the upliftment of our planet's potential.
Hmm.
Mm.
Speaking of that, how do you want to be remembered? And by that, I don't mean when you're gone. I mean while you're still here. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be known for? What kind of legacy? What
Oh,
kind of impact do you want to have? I know it's a bit early for you, but it's better to start thinking about those earlier than later.
mm,
I know you're still very young, but it's good to think about those kind of things because that's what gives you a direction in life. You reverse engineer what you want. You look at the end result and say, how do I get there? You know what I mean? So
mm, mm. I think for me, it's all often organically to now been about planting seeds of new
mhm.
possibilities
Oh yeah. Hmm.
and or new realities, and that's something that I've seen reflect back to me of people I've worked with or people I've known who have, even things I haven't known that I or remembered that I'd said. They're like, "Oh, hey,
Hmm.
remember that session we did? I was about to end my life, and now I'm on track." And I was like, "I had no idea that that's what was going on for you." Or, you said that thing at school the other day, and now, da, da, da. I'm like, "Oh, did I?" Cool. But then also knowing I might plant those seeds and never see them fruiting personally, but as long as I like knowing that those things are happening in the collective.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So
Now you're
planting seeds of soul evolution, really.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now you're truly amazing because you're doing the perfect transition for me without me having to do anything on that. So now, um, tell us about an example of the most remarkable transformation you've seen from someone that you worked with or that you helped so far.
Um, oh, in healing work, seeing people
Hmm.
really, I've like witnessed really amazing things, whether it's been group processes that I've been part of doing, or things that I've done one on one, people shifting
Hmm.
health states of being,
Hmm.
or habitual states of being, like from deep depression to like a renewed sense of joy, and
Hmm.
finding, like, some people, like, you know can't sleep and completely depressed, and then one session later they're like, oh, I'm playing the piano, and I've got, like, I'm sleeping all night, and I've stopped listening to the radio, and it's like, whoa, they're on a whole new trajectory. So in those levels, like, um yeah, are pretty interesting. So I guess that's in the healing space. um yeah, what other ones? um Yeah, I guess I don't record it that, like, it's very in the moment, like, cool, and then I kind of forget, but it's good that you're
Hmm.
talking about it. Um,
Yeah.
mm, Sometimes also in the work I've done with Mayoni is that we've had people start having conversations about things that are not just about periods, but are about entrenched shame, or about waste, or are about,
Hmm.
we've had single fathers come up to us and be like, tell me what to do. I have a 12-year-old daughter. Like, I'm not prepared. And we're like, cool. Like, or like, to start talking about, or
Hmm.
introducing, not to, because it's like people, I mean, for me, I know it was like this for me, but a lot of people, they think, oh, you're ovulating or you've got your period and that's it. No, that's not it. There's 4 phases of your cycle, and there's different
Hmm.
things going on at every phase of that. And if we think about our 4 phases like the 4 seasons in the world, on the planet, then we can cultivate and work with what's going on for us physically, emotionally, hormonally, and then what our needs might be, and kind of biohack your life around it a bit, and then work with it instead of against it, and identify, oh, I'm in this phase, and therefore these sorts of things are better for me at this time, or I can allow myself some slack in this point. Like, that's been a huge shift for me, and for people that we've worked with in that space of planting those seeds of potential and seeing people try those concepts on, and the
Hmm.
transformation that's brought to their
Hmm.
daily lives. Yeah.
That's amazing. What would you say is the one thing that you're most grateful for?
One thing.
I know, I know.
Okay, I'll try and think of something that encapsulates lots of things in one thing. I would say all the beautiful souls who have
Hmm.
supported me in this life, who have come in the
Hmm.
form of family, friends, mentors, spiritual teachers. Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. Especially when you put yourself out there, do something that's much bigger than you. God and the universe will bring almost by magic manifest in front of you the right people, the right circumstances. I've seen that in my life.
Mm.
Manifesting just by magic that in a way that leaves you completely speechless. So yes, I believe you when you say that. I believe you, especially when you put yourself out there and you do something with the right intention, with a genuine heart to do good, you know, in an authentic way. Then
Mm.
everything by magic almost seems to appear, manifest at the right
Mm.
time.
Mm.
You know.
Mm. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, Sarah, we can talk for hours, and there's a lot of things we haven't even, you know, talked about. We might do a part two in a few weeks, but let's wrap this
Yeah,
up and
sure.
ask you some fun questions to finish off.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that you have a time machine right now. You can go back and sit face to face with the 18-year-old Sarah. What would be the first piece
Oh,
of advice you would give to her, knowing all that you
oh,
know now?
oh. As soon as he said time machine, I was like, "Ooh, we could go to all these other civilizations."
Well, we
No,
can
okay.
we
All
can do
right.
that after.
18-year-old there. All right. Ooh, what would I say?
What you wish someone had told you when you were 18, for example.
Oh, like I wish someone had, what's the words for it? Seen that
Mm-hmm,
um I wasn't made to fit into a 9 to 5 work
mm-hmm,
trajectory, I guess.
mm-hmm.
What it's the right way of saying that. And I wish
Yeah.
someone had seen that and been like, hey, it's like there's many ways to manifest a career, and
Yes.
that's one way, and that's cool, but there's all these other ways as well, and here's some skills that you could start learning about how those other ways work, so then you can start using them soon. Yeah, actually I wish I'd learnt that, because
Now,
I wasn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now the question is, if someone had told you that, would you have listened to them? Because when we're 18, we're very cocky and we think we know it all and we want to do our way. We're rebellious. So would you have listened to that person at 18 if that person had told you that? Even though knowing now that that person was talking for what's in your very best interest? Because our parents keep
Ah,
on telling us all the time, don't do that. But to be honest, we don't listen to them, right? Especially when whatever they tell you,
yeah.
don't do that. And you want to do it 10 times more, you want to do it, you know?
I think if I saw that it got me the freedom, if I
Hmm.
saw that, if I understood the freedom connection, I would listen. And if I
Hmm.
didn't see it as a, this is what you have to do, if I just saw it as a, hey, there's a menu of ways
Hmm.
that you can have your career, these are
Hmm.
some ways, these are other ways, these are other ways, these are other ways, these are other ways. If you want to like run your own business, because I always had that feeling like I have to do my own thing, but I don't even know what that is. And I had an aversion to even the concept of business because I was so in the social justice kind of hippie space
Hmm.
that I couldn't see that. But if it was worded to me or presented to me as like, nah, these are the kind of skills you might want to start thinking about. And
Hmm.
oh, like, yeah,
All right. So I
yeah.
noticed that you get quite excited when I mentioned time machine. I know you love traveling, so let's take you on a ride. So now imagine that you can go anytime in history, past, future, present. Where would you want to go with a time machine and why?
On this planet, I'd want to go to Atlantis.
Oh, yes. That was exactly my answer too. Give me five.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Wow. Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
we can do meditation later together and go there.
I want to go to Atlantis, to Lemuria, and all those magical, lands of the past. I mean, they're not magical; they're for real, but they're just no longer here.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so much that we still don't know, or that we're not being told. Because I don't,
Hmm.
even when I was a kid, I loved history, I loved geography, but when I was listening to history, growing up, whether it was in school in France or in Canada. I said, wait a second, that doesn't really add up. There has to be something more
Hmm.
to it, you know? And
Hmm.
that's when get older, you do your own research, say, now I understand. Like, for example,
Totally.
when you see that the most influential human being in history is not even mentioned in any books, Nicholas Tesla, for example.
Hmm.
Everything
Hmm.
we see around us, 95% we owe it to him. Like the light bulb that we have, that's not Edison. That's Tesla. That idea was stolen by
Yeah,
Edison from
yeah,
Tesla. So I guess it's he who wins that writes a story.
totally. And yeah, Yeah, it's a highly edited version, isn't it?
and watered down, big time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you go to a bar, you ask for a drink, and you get only like Coke and whatever instead of not even one ounce of drinks. What is that? I ordered like water. Like exactly, we get a watered down version of history.
Yeah, yeah. But it's so exciting to then research, and there are lots of awesome people that are bringing out all of those other points of view, and it's just fascinating. Like,
I've been absolutely fascinated. There's one guy that has absolutely tremendous lectures on YouTube. He's a young guy, very, very, very smart. He has tons of information. Matthew Lacroix.
oh,
Have you heard of
okay.
him?
No, I thought you were going to say Matteo Di Stefano because he's this guy that remembers all his lives.
Oh yes, from Gaia. I listened to this guy. Yes, but this other guy. He just joined Gaia as well. Matthew Lacroix, Lacroix. Absolutely
Okay, cool.
phenomenal lectures, like an
Awesome.
hour. You know, even though it's an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, they pass like this because it's
Oh,
so
I love it.
fascinating.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I can watch those things for like 5 hours a night.
He talks about our history. He goes back. You know, they tell us that our history is only what 12,000 years old. Say that's bollocks. It's
Rubbish.
almost. It talks
Yeah.
about 500,000 years before, a million years before, and it gives tremendous evidence. It's not just talking out of thin air. It shows proof of that, and that's the most amazing thing. So, highly recommend Matthew
Mm.
Lacroix for anyone interested. You'll be blown away.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
let me ask you one more question that I love asking to people. What is the smallest thing that you've done so far that's had the biggest impact in your life? Let me give you one example to clarify. Like for me, the smallest thing that
Yeah.
I've done that has had the biggest impact has been starting my podcast because it allowed me to connect with so many incredible people. So when I say small, it doesn't mean that it have to be something small. But by that, what I mean is just one action, one thing that you've done that has had the biggest impact so far in your life, in your business, in a positive way.
Ooh. Gosh. Hmm. Uh it kind of has happened in many forms, but like the simplest things of, and I can think of at least three examples of like sending an email without any attachment, not as in literally attach the file, without any like personal attachment, but with seeking something and then having a whole new unfolding that I didn't predict happen. I think that's
Mhm.
happened to me quite a few times.
Wow.
Like the thing I told you about when I was finished uni and I couldn't find a job, and
Oh yes,
I
we
was
forgot
like,
about that. That's
no, well, this is an
amazing.
example. This is
Wow.
yeah, because like I was looking everywhere, either in film or community development, just wasn't happening. I moved to Melbourne, um, based on my intuition. One of my teachers, spiritual teacher, she was like, "Where are you moving to when you go back to Australia?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And she told me to do this technique where you sense the energy. And she's like, "Sense the energy of the places you want to move to." And Melbourne had the biggest one. And she's like, there you go. And I'm like, okay, so that's why I moved there. And then there I was, and I'm trying to find it. Nothing's happened. I was like, oh, I can't do this human life thing. Blah, blah, blah. And then this lady in my spiritual community said, Sarah, you're trying too hard or you're on the wrong path. And you're
Mm.
trying, so you're either like pushing or you're just heading in the not an aligned direction. You need to let go and go and get a job that you are just not attached to, like go and work in a cafe for a while. And I was like, yeah, I thought about that, but then I thought I'd get wrapped up working in the cafe and I'd forget to follow, you know.
Mhm.
And she's like, no, just let go and just do it. I'm like, okay. So the next day, I was like, oh, I used to work for catering companies, and I really liked that because you got all these fun events, and it's it's like yeah, I'll do that. I'll work for a catering company. So I found one. Like yeah, that looks good. Applied, just sent them an email, and they called me straight away and said, "Do you want to come in for an interview?" I'm like, oh, that's fast, cool, righto. So I went in, and I walked in the door and go into this interviewing room, and there's three people there, and like my first thoughts is like, Bit of an
Really?
overkill for a
Yeah,
waitressing job, but okay,
exactly.
great. Here we are, and they've all got a copy of my resume, and I was like, okay, like whatever. Here we are, and we're just chatting away, and they're like asking me about all these other projects that I've done, and I was like, cool. And I'm just telling them because I thought, oh, they just must be interested in what that's about.
Hmm.
And then they were like, look, we have 3 other companies. And they talked about their catering company for a total of 30 seconds and then went on to talk about these events stuff that they do and that they would do these programs in Los Angeles and da da da. And they're like, yeah, we can see there could be some kind of fit here and it's really good to meet you. So let us get back to you. And then they wrote to me, do you want to go to Los Angeles in 2 weeks
Oh,
and be in our acting program and then develop a program for a children's performing arts school? So
wow.
then I ended up doing that and then running a performing arts school for kids for over
It's
100 kids.
amazing.
It was so funny.
What was your reaction when you get that email from them? Were you doing backflips in your
I was just
room
like,
or what?
yes. I was like, yeah, I was
Oh yeah.
stoked. And just
Wow.
before that, it was, yeah, I was like, wow, wow,
Amazing.
yeah.
See, when you put yourself out there, God, universe bring you things that you
You
could not
never
even imagine.
know. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah.
amazing.
Mm.
One final question I love to ask people is, do you have your own podcast?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I don't
It'll be
know
perfect
because
for you.
I love talking to people.
Well, that's all about.
Oh, actually, Mayoni does, but me is just me doesn't. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what would you say is the reason you haven't started your podcast yet?
I don't know. I feel like it's a very flooded space. I don't know if that's just a story. It's probably just a story, really.
The market might be flooded, as you say, but there is always, always, always room for quality, for original stories, for people that are doing good.
Mm,
And there's definitely,
mm,
I see for you, you can be a bright, shining star and do that because not many people are doing what you're doing. Not many people have the tremendous area of experiences that you have and the heart that you have. So go for it.
oh.
Go for it. Seriously, don't even think. If you want, I can even give you my mic. No, but seriously. So here's a question I want to ask you. Imagine that you have your podcast very successful, and today you have the most amazing and most special, precious guest, which is yourself. So you're interviewing yourself on your podcast. What would be the first question you want to ask to yourself? Don't think too much. What is the first question that comes to your mind?
So I'm just bypassing my mind and just feeling into it's something like, what do people need to hear now?
And what's your answer?
And what do people need to hear now? It's time to self activate their potential and remember their innate sense of who they are beyond this form and
And you
then
know what would
express it.
you know what would be the best platform to do so? I'll let you guess.
What? What?
Start with a P. Podcast.
Oh,
What were you thinking?
I was thinking like Pinterest.
No. Okay. No, but seriously, that was a perfect way,
Don't mind
perfect
me.
platform to invite people, let them share the beautiful message they have, and there's so many, and for you to connect with incredible people. As I told you, it's the best thing I've done. I wish I'd done that 5, 10, 20 years ago because you're going to connect with incredible people, especially if you put yourself in doing something really unique and original space. And by unique, I don't mean something crazy. As long as you're doing something that is genuine with good heart and good intentions, you're gonna attract tremendous people to you.
Mm,
Especially if you
mm,
add to that the documentary you're doing in India, maybe you can bring in the filmmaker, the people working in that. The platform is a tremendous vehicle to establish you as an expert, as an authority, as a go-to person in your niche, but also to connect you with incredible people. And you do that for a year, 2 or 3 years. That can be an incredible platform to leverage into higher and bigger things. Imagine you build a
Mm,
podcast with following and you have some big names. You can and on top of that, let's say you do a crowdfunding for your documentary, and that goes well, then you can use that for something much bigger.
mm,
You can use the podcast to promote your crowdfunding, whatever you're doing, and you can, there's so many things you can do. You can you can attract, especially if you get big time names. You can really, the sky is the limit. Seriously, Sarah, I mean
mm.
it.
Okay.
Go
Wow.
for it. So for you, there are three things that are no brainers: get a podcast, do a crowd Kickstarter for your documentary, and let me do some research on your product so I can let you really take it to next level, because the product you have seriously has tremendous potential. Pretty much half the world's population can use it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you might
Yep.
be potentially sitting not on a gold mine, but on a what is higher than gold, maybe diamond, even titanium, whatever is higher than that. Seriously.
Wow. Thank you. Yes. I yes.
I'm not
Okay.
trying to IP or blow smoke up. You know what? But I see
No.
things as I say things as I mean it, because sometimes
Yeah.
we are sitting on things that we take for granted, or we don't judge them accordingly. But we need someone from
Yeah.
a unbiased perspective. Hey, you have gold in your mind in your hands right now. Well, I wish the camera could
Yes.
show it, because I was putting my hand like, where's the camera?
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But seriously, now Sarah, you wow, the potential, you have unlimited potential in front of you.
Thank you. Wow.
It
And you've
starts
just
with the podcast. That's what
okay,
we
I'll
need. We need
interview
someone
you.
to open and expand our horizons. I'm not claiming that I expanded horizon, because you already been working on those. So I'm not going to claim any credit for that. But you just need to
Yeah.
seize me
Get it out
open.
there.
Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm.
And I'm here.
Plant
If there's
those.
any ways I can help you in any way, shape, or form, you know how to connect, how to reach me. So now we connected
Thank
with
you.
friends. So yeah, because I love seeing people. I'm the biggest cheerleader for people who are doing good, because my entire philosophy is do good with your business. Let's inspire other people. The whole reason I'm having this podcast is not just to spend an hour with amazing people. Yes, that's fun, but it's ultimately to inspire others to do good.
Mm,
Because if
mm.
me and you, someone watching this, we can inspire just one person, and that person goes on to do good with their business, and they go
Totally.
to inspire and help just one person, and so on and so forth. Before
It's all
long,
the
it can
ripples. Yes.
global, unstoppable, that can change the frequency, the vibration, the energy of this planet towards a more positive direction. And God knows how much our planet needs more
Needed.
positivity right now, badly. So listen, Sarah, we can be talking for hours. We've talked for an hour now. I salute you. You're a tremendous leader with a heart. You're a blessed soul. You have the heart, beautiful heart, the size of Australia, the size of the Milky Way, the size of whatever you want that's bigger than that, the galaxy. Keep shining your beautiful light. Stay safe. God bless. We're definitely going to keep in touch. So, oh, forgot the most important thing. What's the best way to connect with you if someone wants to connect with you?
Yeah. Okay. So my website is sarahripper.com,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I have a YouTube channel I've just started called Align and
Oh,
Create with Sarah. And that's mostly healing kind of stuff, meditations, things like that. And I'm on Insight Timer as well. And again, that's
what's
more
what's what's your YouTube channel again?
Align and Create with Sarah.
Align and create. Okay, I'll put all that in the show notes and create with Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So
Yeah.
so listen again. Keep shining your light. You're a blessing to this world. Keep doing what you're doing. And God bless. Stay safe. We'll definitely keep in touch. And For you, it's morning now. So have a wonderful day, weekend, and rest of the week. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
and thank you
Take
so
care.
much, Raymond, for doing what you do and for having me. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. Ciao.
Ciao.